Have you ever felt that boiling sensation, that fire in your chest when you see something deeply wrong? Maybe it's a news story about a terrible injustice, or witnessing someone being bullied. We're often told that anger is a negative emotion, something to be suppressed, a sign of losing control. But what if I told you that not all anger is created equal? What if some anger is not only justified, but necessary? This is the complex, often misunderstood world of righteous anger. Today, we're going to explore this powerful emotion. What exactly is righteous anger? When, if ever, is it appropriate? And most importantly, how do we distinguish it from its destructive cousin, wrath? We'll look at ancient texts and modern-day examples to untangle this emotional knot. So, stick around as we delve into the heart of an emotion that can either build up or tear down our world. Let's start by defining our terms. Righteous anger is a reactive emotion to perceived injustice, moral violation, or mistreatment. The key word here is righteous. It implies the anger stems from a place of justice, morality, and a desire to correct a wrong, not from personal ego, entitlement, or selfish desire. It's an anger that says, this shouldn't be happening. It's a protest against evil. Think of it as a moral alarm system. When it goes off, it's signaling a serious breach of ethical principles. This kind of anger is not about personal revenge or getting your own way. It's selfless. It's directed at the injustice itself, not necessarily at the person committing it, with the ultimate goal of restoration and correction. It's a constructive force, meant to protect the vulnerable and uphold what is good. Now, let's contrast this with wrath. Wrath, or sinful anger, is a different beast entirely. It's often rooted in pride, selfishness, and a desire for personal vengeance. While righteous anger is controlled and purposeful, wrath is chaotic and destructive. It seeks to harm, to dominate, to punish for the sake of punishment. It's the anger that leads to road rage, to holding grudges for years, to lashing out and saying things you can never take back. Wrath is self-serving. It's all about me, my hurt feelings, my bruised ego, my need to be right. It loses sight of justice and focuses solely on retaliation. One of the most powerful illustrations of this difference comes from biblical narratives. Consider the story of Jesus in the temple. He enters and sees the house of worship turned into a marketplace where merchants are exploiting the poor. The text says he fashions a whip of cords and drives them out, overturning their tables. This wasn't a temper tantrum. It wasn't about him. His anger was directed at the desecration of a sacred space and the exploitation of the vulnerable. He was defending the integrity of worship and the dignity of the poor. His actions were purposeful, controlled, and aimed at restoring righteousness. It was a clear, powerful act of righteous anger. Now, let's look at an example of wrath from the same source. The story of Cain and Abel. Cain becomes angry and resentful because his brother Abel's offering is favored by God. This anger isn't about a grand injustice. It's about his own pride, his jealousy, and his sense of entitlement. He doesn't seek to understand or improve. Instead, he allows this selfish anger to fester until it consumes him, leading him to commit the first murder. He lets his wrath take over, and the result is pure destruction, born from a wounded ego. The contrast is stark. One action restores order. The other introduces chaos and death into the world. But these concepts aren't just ancient history. We see them play out around us every single day. Let's think about modern examples of righteous anger. The civil rights movement is a prime one. People like Martin Luther King Jr. were deeply angered by the systemic injustice of segregation and racism. But their anger wasn't a blind, hateful rage. It was channeled into a strategic, non-violent movement for change. Their goal wasn't to destroy their opponents, but to awaken the conscience of a nation and build a more just society. The anger was the fuel, but love and a vision for a better future were the steering wheel. That is righteous anger in action. Think of the activists who fight against human trafficking, or the environmentalists who are angered by the destruction of our planet. Their anger is a response to a great wrong. It motivates them to advocate, to educate, to protest, and to create solutions. It's an anger that says, We must do better, and then puts in the work to make that happen. When you feel a surge of anger seeing a child go hungry or an elderly person being scammed, that's your moral compass at work. That's the seed of righteous anger. Now, for modern examples of wrath, we see it constantly in online discourse. People hiding behind screens, spewing venom, and personal attacks over a disagreement. This isn't about finding truth or correcting injustice. It's about winning an argument and humiliating the other person. It's ego-driven and destructive, tearing down relationships and fostering division. Consider a person who gets passed over for a promotion and then spends their energy sabotaging their colleague's work and spreading rumors. Their anger isn't about an unfair system. It's about personal disappointment that has curdled into malicious wrath. They seek to pull someone else down rather than build themselves up. This is wrath in its most common form: selfish, vengeful, and ultimately self-destructive. It solves nothing and only creates more pain. So, how do we tell the difference within ourselves? When you feel anger rising, it's crucial to pause and ask some honest questions. First, what is the source of my anger? Is it a genuine injustice, or a moral failing, or is it my own pride, jealousy, or inconvenience? Am I angry that someone is being hurt? Or am I angry that I am not getting my way? Second, what is the focus of my anger? Is it aimed at solving the problem and restoring what is right? Or is it focused on hurting the person who angered me? Righteous anger wants to fix the situation. Wrath wants to punish the person. Third, what are the fruits of my anger? Does it lead to constructive action, dialogue, and positive change? Or does it lead to bitterness, division, and destruction? Righteous anger builds up, even when it has to tear down a corrupt system first. Wrath only tears down. It's a fire that consumes everything, including the person holding it. It's vital to understand that righteous anger is not a license for uncontrolled rage. It must be held in check by wisdom, love, and self-control. It's a sharp tool that, in the right hands, can carve out justice. But in the wrong hands, it can cause immense damage. The goal is not to be an angry person, but to be a person who can, when necessary, use anger as a force for good. Suppressing all anger can be just as harmful as letting wrath run wild. Apathy in the face of injustice is a moral failure. When we see wrong and feel nothing, we become complicit. Righteous anger is the emotional energy God gives us to stand up and say, no, this is not right. It's the fuel for courage. So, the next time you feel that fire in your chest, don't immediately try to extinguish it. Examine it. Is this the destructive flame of wrath fueled by your ego? Or is it the clarifying fire of righteous anger, a beacon calling you to defend the good, the true, and the beautiful? Learning to wield this emotion wisely is a lifelong journey. It requires self-awareness, humility, and a constant commitment to justice over self. It means being slow to anger, quick to listen, and always aiming for restoration, not revenge. The world doesn't need more wrath. It needs more people with the courage to feel righteous anger and the wisdom to channel it into creating a better, more just world for everyone. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content that explores the big questions of life. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay thoughtful.